This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Alleged lottery scammers arrested in Caribbean estate operation. 8 people who are said to be members of a lottery scam network in Montego Bay, St. James, were arrested on Friday during a police and military operation in Caribbean Estates, Portmore, St. Catherine. A statement issued Friday afternoon by the police high command said the 6 men and the 2 women are believed to be linked to a major gang. About 7 a.m., members of the Joint Anti-Gang Task Force went to the gated community in search of suspects who relocated to St. Catherine following pressure from the security forces in western Jamaica. During the operation, it's reported that the suspects attempted to burn and flush lead sheets. The police extinguished the fire and detained the 8 suspects who are from St. James. More than 20 cellular phones, SIM cards, laptop computers, bank cards, and the lottery scamming paraphernalia were allegedly seized. The security forces also seized a Toyota Mark X. The anti-gang task force is urging persons, especially those living in gated communities, to be on the lookout for suspicious people and activities. It said displaced criminals have been moving into these communities to hide from the security forces and to conceal their illegal activities. Man freed of gun charges after witness fails to show at a trial. A St. Andrew construction worker accused of shooting at his ex-girl and her boyfriend has been freed of gun charges. The charges of illegal possession of firearm and illegal possession of ammunition against Sheldon Robinson were dropped in the gun court after the complainant failed to show up for the trial hearing twice and could not be located or contacted. Robinson, who was also accused of breaking the female's foot, was also freed of assault. On Thursday, when the case was called up, the lead investigator gave detailed evidence of his efforts to locate the witnesses, all of which have proven futile. Consequently, the Crown offered no evidence and a formal not guilty verdict was handed down by the judge. Allegations were that on September 10, 2021, at about 7:45 p.m., the couple was at a round-the-robin party at a bar in Kingston when Robinson and his friends came along. The female complainant further alleged that while there, she saw an enraged Robinson quarreling. Based on Robinson's attitude, she said that she became concerned and went in search of her boyfriend, who had stepped out of the bar. The woman said that when she found him, she told him that she did not like how Robinson was behaving and that they needed to go home. While on their way home, she alleged that Robinson came out of the bushes and fired at her and her partner, and they both ran and sought refuge in her sister's house. Robinson allegedly also threatened to murder her. However, police investigation found no spent shell at the alleged scene, and residents in the area said they did not hear any gunshots. In respect to the assault charge, prior to the alleged shooting incident, the complainant had reported that Robinson had broken one of her feet. Attorney at law Matthew Hyatt represented Robinson. Cop in $100,000 bribery murder saga will return to Jamaica, claims innocence. The 3rd policeman being sought in the murder of 49-year-old Tyler in Red Hill, St. Andrew, over an alleged bribery deal gone bad, wants to return to Jamaica to assist the investigations. The Jamaica Constabulary Force reported this week that 2 cops were in custody and a 3rd fled Jamaica. Queen's Counsel Peter Champagny confirmed Friday that he is representing the policeman who is stationed at the Constant Spring Police Station in St. Andrew. Champagny said he has written to the relevant investigative bodies informing them that he has been retained to represent the policeman. The cop is willing to return to Jamaica to assist with the investigation, the lawyer said. Champagny said the policeman says he is not involved in any murder and did not leave the island because of the incident. The 2 other cops were arrested on Sunday on suspicion of murder following the fatal shooting of Philip Wallace on July 16. The cops allegedly requested $100,000 from Wallace following a raid a few days earlier in return for a case against him to be dropped. A sum was allegedly provided, but the cops demanded more. A report was made to the Constant Spring Police Station and a corruption probe opened against the cops. About 10:41 a.m. Saturday, Wallace was reportedly standing in his Green Glide close community when a white Toyota Axio motorcar drove up. 3 men alighted from the vehicle and opened fire on Wallace, reports said. A woman who was also shot at escaped without injury. The Independent Commission of Investigations and the JCF's Inspectorate and Professional Standards Oversight Bureau are probing the matter. JPS and the NWC liable to pay $53.4 million for breaches. The Jamaica Public Service Company and the National Water Commission became liable for payouts amounting to $53.4 million between January and March this year for breaching guaranteed standards. A news release from the Office of the Utilities Regulation says only $45.3 million was applied as credit to affected customers' bills. The remaining $8.1 million was not paid as claim forms were not submitted by the affected customers. JPS's compliance report on its guaranteed standards performance indicated that 20,653 breaches were committed during the January to March quarter, representing a 6% increase on the number for the preceding period. The breaches attracted compensatory payments of $43.8 million, all of which were applied automatically to the affected customer's account. The NWC's Guaranteed Standards Compliance Report for the review period indicates that the number of breaches committed increased by 120% to 2,419 when compared with the preceding period. These breaches had a potential payout of $9.6 million. However, actual payments amounted to $1.5 million and were made by way to automatic credits to the affected accounts. The remainder was not paid as the required claim forms were not submitted. Third, Jamaican consents to extradition in international money laundering case. One of the 3 Jamaicans implicated in an alleged sophisticated international scheme that laundered more than $6 million in drug trafficking yesterday abandoned his plans to contest his extradition to the United States. Steve Wright, a flake of a Portmore St. Catherine address, had indicated in May that he would be challenging the extradition request, but yesterday when he reappeared in the Kingston and the St. Andrew Parish Court, his legal representative Samoy Campbell indicated that he has consented to be extradited. Senior Parish Judge Lorian Cole Montague subsequently signed the committal order for the extradition after a flicker signed the consent form. A flick and the 2 other Jamaicans are alleged to have acted as money couriers and are among 19 persons who have been implicated in the scheme, which had been under investigation since 2016 by law enforcement personnel across multiple borders, including Jamaica, the United States, and Colombia, among others. The other Jamaicans, St. Devon Anthony Cover of Manchester and Dennis Rowe of Kingston, waived their rights to an extradition hearing when they appeared in court in May. The Jamaicans were indicted in the U.S. on charges of laundering of monetary instruments and aiding and abetting. Cover is alleged to have delivered $268,000 to undercover police or a confidential informer. Rowe is said to have handed over $606,000, while a flick reportedly delivered $650,000. Each of the defendants reportedly played different roles: money couriers, money brokers, drug trafficking organization suppliers, and business owners. According to the indictment, throughout the 5-year probe dubbed Operation Thin Ice, approximately $6 million in Colombian drugs proceeded through banks in the Caribbean, the U.S., and Europe. Approximately $1 million was seized from the corporate bank accounts and other investigative activity. Investigators also traced or seized nearly 3,000 kilograms of cocaine with a street value of more than $90 million to the money laundering organization. This includes approximately 1,193 kilograms of cocaine seized at sea 60 miles south of Jamaica in July 2019, as well as 1,555 kilograms of cocaine snared in 9 scrap metal shipping containers at the port of Buenaventura, Colombia in March 2019. The money laundering network, which operated primarily in Barranquilla, Colombia, allegedly launders drug proceeds through intermediary banks in the U.S., Europe, and the Caribbean through the use of the black market peso exchange method. The BMPE is described in the indictment as a method by which narcotics traffickers use a third party to sell their proceeds in the U.S. for pesos in Colombia. In a common BMPE conspiracy, a BMPE broker will identify a South American business person who imports goods from places such as the U.S., China, or Panama, and will offer the South American business person an opportunity to pay the debt owed to the exporter in the foreign exchange at a significant discount compared to making the payment through a South American bank, an investigator explained in the indictment. A business person who agrees to participate will, in turn, hand over payments for the imported goods in the form of pesos to the BMPE broker, who would then contact a DTO and organize for the exchange of the pesos for narcotics proceeds in the U.S. According to the indictment, after the pickup, the brokers would then arrange to forward the proceeds to the exporter in the U.S., which is often accomplished by remitting the proceeds through a third party. Law enforcers from Jamaica, the U.S., Colombia, Canada, Spain, and other countries successfully infiltrated the organization and obtained hundreds of recorded communications involving the defendants via telephone calls, text messages, wiretap intercession, and in-person meetings. Money laundering conspiracy and the laundering of monetary instrument charges attract a maximum sentence of 20 years in prison and a fine of up to US $500,000 or twice the amount involved. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.